Welcome to Laura Rose Paints. I am Laura and I will be your guide for today's painting, which is a beautiful wintry snow globe. If you've been here before, you know the drill. If you're new to the channel, check out the description below for all the supplies you will need. Pull up an easel, hit like, hit subscribe, and let's get painting. Trace a large circle on your canvas, draw a couple of horizontal rectangles underneath for the base. Using the tip of your big filbert brush, trace along the outside of your sketch with a mix of mostly blue and red and a touch of white. Fill in everything surrounding that snow globe. You don't have to be precise with your strokes. I went in all directions with mine and had to remix the purple a few times. This allowed for a somewhat streaky, textured background. Lightly sketch your snow trees and snowman with a pencil and use that as a guideline to begin building up your painting. With a smaller brush and a mix of mostly white, add a touch of ultramarine blue, begin adding the snow and snowman. Use the tip of the brush for the outline, back and forth sweeping strokes for the snow, and be sure to follow the curves of the snowman. Use a little more blue in areas that need shadow and rinse your brush and add pops of clean white paint in areas where you need a highlight. I bounced back and forth between my shadow and highlight colors and added more layers on top of this, so don't make it too precise. This is just a base coat to get us started. With a bigger brush, use a mix of cobalt blue and white for a pale blue sky. Use broad, sweeping strokes following the curve of the snow globe. Don't worry if it looks messy around the snowman or the sketches of the trees. You can always fine-tune the outline of the snowman, and the trees will cover up any happy little accidents or anything that looks unfinished. For the small tree in the distance, use a mix of mostly white with a small drop each of cobalt blue and yellow. Begin about an inch or two above the horizon and use the tip of a small filbert brush to flick in little brush strokes, creating a triangular shape as you approach the horizon. Use the same technique for the tree on the right, making it a little darker and a little larger than the first. Pop in some extra shadows under the trees and continue with the large tree to the left of the snowman. For this one, I used a bigger brush and phthalo green for the base, then I added some streaks of ultramarine blue and yellow mixed with white for added shadows and highlights. Use a clean brush to pop in and fine-tune the shadows and highlights around your tree and snowman. If you need a dry break at this point, go ahead, rinse those brushes, get some fresh paint water and paper towels, and if you are inclined to post your progress pics to Instagram, please feel free to tag me at Laura Rose Paints so I can see your version of this painting. Back to the snowman, use the skinny round brush to add a bright red scarf. Pop in a few highlights with white and shadows with ultramarine blue. Rinse your brush and draw on a little top hat with a mix of white and burnt sienna. Brush from one side to the other and use extra white on your dirty brush to add the highlight. Still working with the burnt sienna mix. Use a big filbert brush to trace the base of the snow globe. Fill it in from left to right, using extra white on the right and extra burnt sienna on the left. Add a few streaks of ultramarine blue for the shadows and yellow mixed with white for the highlights. Clean the skinny round brush and use black to carefully add an outline to the shadowy side of the hat. Draw little eyes, buttons, and a mouth. You can also add a little black outline to the base of the snow globe, focusing on the left side where the shadows are. Clean the brush again and use a mix of yellow and red to create an orange triangle for a little carrot nose. Make sure your big filbert brush is clean before using white to pop in a few streaks of snow throughout the tree. Use either the tip of the skinny round brush or even the handle to pop in white paint all throughout the globe to make it snow. Use the tip of the large filbert brush and ultramarine blue to trace around the globe. Once everything is completely dry, use a little watered down white paint on a clean filbert brush to streak in a few reflections of light around the globe. Make sure you follow the curve of the snow globe as you paint. That paint should be see-through but visible enough to make it look like the light is bouncing off the globe. With the final details in place, the only thing left for you to do right now is sign your name and take credit for your work. If you are on Instagram, please check out Laura Rose Paints, or you could also check out Laura Rose Paints on Redbubble, where some of my designs are on stickers, magnets, and other merch. If you'd like to support the channel, please consider subscribing if you haven't done so already. Thank you for joining me. I hope you had a great time and will join me again. And until then, happy painting!